Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. As we know, the so-called Redeem Team 2.0 2024 Olympic team barely beat Sudan. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you. I see a lot of people getting up in arms about this thing. It's a scrimmage game, whatever. I'm not going to make a big hoopla out of this whole thing. I'm just not going to do that, because the way gambling is today is legal, and we know that the spread was not covered. I can't trust this whole thing. I'm not going to put too much faith into it as it being anything. For one, it's a scrimmage. For two, like I said, the whole gambling aspect, you just can't trust it, okay? So I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. Okay, they said that the world caught up to these guys. God bless their hearts. Okay. Like I told you before, Nick Wright saying that this team is better than the Dream Team, and that Coach K, he was on both teams, the Dream Team and the Redeem Team in 08. And he said that the Dream Team will beat that 08 team, and it's not even close. Okay. So you're trying to tell me that this team is better than the 08 Redeem Team? Somebody's got some explaining to do on that one. They got some explaining to do. And like I said in the past, so you're trying to tell me the deciding factor of the Redeem Team in 08 was Kobe Bryant? Not to knock this guy, all-time great. Some people got him in the top 5. But come on, man. If that's the deciding factor, Kobe Bryant, because that Redeem Team was basically the same team without Kobe Bryant. Remember, in the FIBA, they got beat, that same team. So if that's the difference, guess what? The Dream Team already had what Kobe was trying to beat, and that was Michael Jordan. And we all know Kobe was not better than Michael Jordan. And some people say it's not even close. Not any knock against Kobe, because we say Kobe is the closest thing to Michael Jordan, and that's tough to emulate Michael Jordan's game. Nobody has yet to do it. Many people tried and failed. So we're not knocking Kobe, but I'm just saying, if that's the deciding factor, that team wasn't that good, and they barely beat Spain. And you got to remember that when we're barely beating teams like that, it's not because they caught up to us. Look at these international teams, right? They have one superstar on their team, or one Hall of Famer superstar, and they might have an NBA role player on their team. That's if they even have that. They might just have an NBA role player on their team as a star. And some of them might not even have an NBA role player on their team. So there's no way that the world could catch up to us with that being true. What it tells you is that when the Lebron team, the 04 team got beat, the 06 FIBA team got beat, and us barely beating some of these teams. Even the last Olympics, where Durant was the difference. We never saw LeBron carry a team, put a team on his back like Durant did in the last Olympics. And because Durant was on those teams, or Kobe was on those teams with LeBron. And we all know LeBron dismantled his past team that lost in the FIBA, didn't even place in the gold medal with the so-called next Michael Jordan, Anthony Edwards. And I'm not knocking that guy, because he played his heart out in last summer's FIBA game. But they also had Banchero, Halliburton, and a slew of other guys. Brunson. But my point is, from 04 until now, if we're losing and barely beating teams, again, I told you, these international teams only have one superstar and maybe a role player, NBA role player with that NBA superstar on their team. Or they don't have neither on their team. So again, if we're losing or barely winning, that tells you that we're not disciplined. We're not about the fundamentals. We're not about the X's and O's. We're about athleticism first. We're about playing in these new NBA rules that get exposed when we go play in international play. It also gets exposed when we have international players running the league. And I'm not saying international players aren't great, but remember, most of these international players who are the top players now in the league, they're not two-way players. They're not two-way players. And not even close. I'll give it to Greek Freak, somewhat to Joel Embiid, but the rest of them are not two-way players, and they were able to eventually come in this league that was set for LeBron's longevity of no defense, spread out the floor, and kick it out to one of the 4 3-point guys at the three-point line. As we saw, LeBron had to do this his first stint in Cleveland, clear out, him barrel down the lane, and if the shot's not there, kick it out to those three-point shooters. That is the league that LeBron built. That's not the league that Curry built. Curry did not change the game. LeBron changed the game. Welcome to my channel. You won't hear this on any other channel. And that's why my channel isn't monetized, because you're always hearing stuff that YouTubers don't tell you. I'm not beating up on them. And especially the media won't tell you. Curry did not change the game. Without Clay, there's no Curry. It wasn't 4 guys sitting at the three-point line for Golden State. It was not like that in the 210s. It was Curry and Clay. If you went for Curry, he was thrown at the Clay, and Clay was thrown at the Curry, and it was them sitting at the three-point line, bombing away, both shooting 40+%. So Curry didn't change the game. Curry and Clay changed the game together, but they didn't have the floor spread out like you have it now, or like you had it when LeBron was in Cleveland. He went to Miami, spread those guys out, went back to Cleveland, spread them out again. The spread out floor is because of LeBron. And also, this is a concept of the international game that they played for a long time, right? They were just great shooters, weren't great defenders. And I keep trying to tell you, and I can't stress this more and more and more, and I said this in the last video, if I had a chance between, I don't know, Hakeem Olajuwon, well, let's just say David Robinson. If I had a pick between David Robinson and Durant, I'm picking David Robinson all day, because I know he can give me 22 to 25 points per game, 10+ rebounds, and he can give me 2+ blocks a game, right? What can Kevin Durant give me? All he can give me is scoring. The 7 rebounds per game as a 7-footer is slouchy, lazy, and just ridiculous. You know he don't play no defense. So give me the guys of the 90s who played a two-way game. Not all of them played at a high level on offense, but a guy who can give me 22 to 25 points a game plus play defense. I'm taking those 90s guys all day. And even Magic Johnson, 2 steals titles. The man played good off-ball defense, shot 50%. Just about every 50% or more, just about every year of his career, gave me 2+ steals, just about every year of his career, plus the, insane assist, and could take it to the next level on offense anytime. He didn't play much in the 90s, but I'm just using an example. You give me the John Stocktons, you give me the Karl Malones, you even give me the Charles Barkley. Wasn't a great defender, but he will put up the effort. Give me the Patrick Ewings that can give me 22 to 25 games a game, points per game, and plus 10+ rebounds, 2+ blocks. Give me the Alonzo Mournings, who can give me 20 points per game, 2+ blocks. Give me these guys, Hakeem, the Scottie Pippins. Give me these guys that play defense, because defense wins championships. And when you take these 210 guys, these 2020 guys, how much energy do they really have if they have to play defense? Not just the European players. I'm talking about now the American players. What's the quality of their offensive game if they have to play 90s defense? If they have to slow people down to a grind of less than 100 points a game? What is their offensive game? What is Kevin Durant's offensive game if he actually has to play defense and rebound at 7 feet? What about even LeBron James? What's his energy level if he has to play real defense all of his career? All these guys, Halliburton, Brunson, Steph Curry, if they actually have to play defense. Give me these guys of the 90s who played on both sides of the ball. So, yes, the world has caught up to these guys because the decline of defense. It's a decline. And to me, their offensive games really isn't that good. It's really one-dimensional. Guys just sitting around at the three-point line waiting for the ball to come to them. Okay? No real positional skills of a center. No real positional skills of a shooting guard, a point guard, a power forward, a small forward. There's no positional skills. It's just guys out there trying to beat you off of athleticism and waiting for the ball to come to them at the three-point line. They don't have to play any position. This is positionless basketball. So if you think this team, this year, the 2024 Olympic team can beat the Dream Team, you're mistaken. They want to talk about Larry Bird and how he was old. Well, at this point, look, he was younger than LeBron. He was younger than Curry, younger than Durant. And they might look like they're better because they play in an era of no defense and the floor spread out. That's why they look better. When you take Michael Jordan, let me say this real quick. The thing with the Dream Team is it don't matter if they play the same teams that the 04 team played, the 06 FIBA, the 08 Olympic team, and all the U.S. men's basketball team from 2004 on. If the Dream Team played their competition, this is what will happen first. First, these guys would step on the floor and the opponents would just be like shell-shocked. They will be bewildered. A lot of them won't know what to do. That's Michael Jordan. That's Magic Johnson. That's Larry Bird. That's Hakeem. That's Patrick Ewing. That's Scottie Pippen. That's Chris Mullin. That's John Stockton. That's Karl Malone. That's Charles Barkley. These people will be shell-shocked. Why? Because of their pedigree, what they did, who they are, and what's coming to them. What's coming to them? They're not thinking, man, these are just some guys that's from the NBA and we caught up to them. Those aren't some guys that that's calling themselves the king before they even achieved anything in the league. These guys had real pedigrees. Okay, these guys, their opponents will be shell-shocked. It don't matter what year it is that they played these opponents. Okay? You think any of these opponents thought that about LeBron and company? The Chris Bosh, the Dwayne Wades, the Carmelo Anthonys, or any of these guys that was barely winning or won? No. They were thinking, let me beat these guys so I can have stories for my children, my grandchildren, take their gold medals, take their silver medals, leave them without a medal. We're not scared of them. What have they achieved? What has Anthony Edwards achieved? Man, they calling this dude the Michael Jordan. Let's go out here and beat this team. What has Halliburton achieved? What has Paolo Banchero achieved? And if we even step it up to today, that's LeBron, a meltdown artist, a guy who has to run from team to team because he cannot pull his team over the hump. He cannot make his teammates better. He melts down. That's Kevin Durant. Yeah, he's going to give you some buckets. We ain't worried about him on the rebounds. We're not worried about him on defense. Okay? That's frail AD. Yes, he's a good player, good two-way player, but he can become frail at any time. So the international competition is always looking at these guys. It's some hiccups with these players. You can't say the same thing for the Dream Team. Okay, let's look at this real quick and tell you what and explain what I mean. Okay. So When your competition is going against you, this is what they think of you. Even when we go to Christian Laettner, not even an NBA player yet, coming out of college, the man just won back-to-back championships. One of the greatest players in college. You got Larry Bird, maybe the greatest forward of all time, small forward. He was great at every level, right? Had no weaknesses. Shoot the three, shoot the mid-range, play help defense, hit his free throws, leadership, won 3 championships, and ran over the East in the 80s. Okay? You're looking at Patrick Ewing, I think, the greatest shooting center of all time, one of the greatest two-way players, in my opinion. Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard of all time. David Robinson, a great two-way player. Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time. Charles Barkley, top 5. Power forward of all time. Got Karl Malone, top 2 power forward of all time. John Stockton, in many people's eyes, the second greatest point guard of all time, if not top 5. Scottie Pippen, one of the greatest all-around players of all time. And Chris Mullin, just a pure shooter. Okay, so when we look at this team this year, I don't even know who that guy is. But you look at Jason Tatum, just won the championship, melted down in the finals. I'm telling you, in terms of what your competition is looking at you as, right? A great player, probably a Hall of Fame player, won't be a top 5 player at this position. You got Kevin Durant, a one-way player, poor rebounder, poor defensive player. Joel Embiid, we don't know what's going to happen to him. He's all over the place. Not a top 5 center of all time. Maybe not even a top 10 when it's over. Who is this? AD. We talked about AD. Kind of great two-way player, but not a leader. His years are wasting away. You don't know what he's going to give you. He's inconsistent. He doesn't demand a ball. Bam Adebayo, big deal. Anthony Edwards, a great young player who got benched. So, okay, he's a great player. He has really no accolades. Not even a top 5 player in the league. You got international players who are better than him in the league. Drew Holiday, solid defensive player. Curry, not a top. Is he a point guard? What is this guy? He let LeBron put him a turnover machine at shooting guard. One of the greatest shooters of all time. Not a top 5 player. LeBron James, like I said, a choker. Couldn't take the team last year and just take him under his wings. He had to build this team. That's what he does. He's old. He melts down. You got Booker. Who knows about this guy? And you got Halliburton, a up-and-coming star. But this is what I'm talking about. The opponents are not going to look at this 24 team like they would look at the Dream Team as far as who they're going up against. They're not. The opponents are not starstruck about the 04 Olympic team, right? The 06 FIBA team, the 04 Olympic team. Not a knock against Kobe. Maybe they were scared at Kobe. He already accomplished so much. And he proved that he was a leader. He didn't have to run like LeBron. LeBron ran in the Kobe era. That's crazy. LeBron was the next one up. He was supposed to carry the torch that Kobe gave him. Kobe took it from Jordan. Jordan took it from Magic and Bird, and so on and so on. LeBron ran. And of course, the 212 team. I'm not trying to say these teams are bad or no good, but their opponents don't look at them the same. Or this team this year as what they would look at the Dream Team. And like I said, I don't care if the Dream Team played this year, 2016, 2012, 2008, 2004, in all the FIBA competitions. Those competitors going against the USA, if that Dream Team was in there, will be they would be shell-shocked. They wouldn't know what to do because they know what was coming to them. What are we going to do? In the Dream Team, you know what they did? They was going to put it to them dudes. And like Sports and Fitness Rand said, the Dream Team ain't going to leave no doubt who's the best. This was these guys' mentality when they got on the floor in the NBA. As individual players and leaders of their teams. So when they got together on the Dream Team, it was no different. They was going to leave no doubt who was the best in the world. And I'm starting to think, when I look at Michael Jordan's 84 Olympic team, when they destroyed Magic, Bird, McHale, Isaiah Thomas, Cooper, Alex English, all these slew of great NBA players in 9 or 11 scrimmage games, they destroyed them and didn't lose any games to them. So I'm starting to think, I mean, could that 84 Olympic team beat this team too? With Michael Jordan, Alvin Robertson, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, and a slew of other guys? Let me look at this real quick. I want to see. Here it is. Just some notable names. Patrick Ewing, Vern Fleming, Michael Jordan, Chris Mullin, Sam Perkins, Alvin Robertson, and Wayman Tisdale. They destroyed NBA pros. Didn't let them win one game. Didn't let them win one game. You can say what you want to say. It was just a scrimmage. But they was leaving no doubt that once they went to the Olympic play, they was going to destroy these guys too. You got to leave no doubt, man. And I just did a video on this, that Michael Jordan left no doubt that he was the greatest player of all time when he retired. Not only because of championships, the finals MVPs, the statistical accolades, because of all the other things that he did on the court. In the 90s, the three-peats, the points per game. They never never losing 3 in a row in the 90s. A lot of stuff. Stopping 2 dynasties in back-to-back series in 91 from happening. With the Lakers going for another dynasty in the Pistons starting a dynasty. So if you want to see that video, it's just not that. It's so many other, the most accolades in NBA history, having one all-star teammate. It's just so many things. It's like 25 things I went over, and that's not even all of them. You want to leave no doubt that you're the best. And that comes not with, oh, we just good. No, it comes with commitment, hard work, fundamentals, X's and O's. And that comes with positional skills. Having to do with, you come to the hole, I'm going to block you. I'm going to play defense. I'm going to be all on you. Screens, efficient passes, everything. You're not playing off of athleticism purely. Your athleticism is a plus. The Spurs, the Warriors, the Mavs, how athletic were those teams? Yes, you have to be athletic to play in the NBA and be one of the greatest players to play in the NBA. But at the same time, those guys weren't the greatest athletic teams. They played off of fundamentals in X's and O's. That's what the Lakers in the 80s, the Celtics in the 80s, the Bulls finally had to win off of fundamentals. That was the case. Jordan would have won 5 titles in the 80s. The most athletic person you ever seen in the 80s. Charles Barkley was greatly athletic. A lot of these guys was. But it's about the team and fundamentals. So I'm not going to get like too crazy about them barely beating Sudan. Because, like I said, the gambling aspect to me is just so ridiculous. They didn't even come close to covering the spread. And you really can't trust nothing with all this gambling. So you got to think, who made money off of that? Who knew they weren't going to cover the spread? And it's just a scrimmage game. That's how these guys play in this era. They don't want to leave no doubt of who the best is, right? Dudes back in the day who wanted to be the greatest of all time, greatest teams of all time, they left no doubt who was the greatest player, who was the greatest team. Tell me what you think.